guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well, and I'm finally back off the holiday. And yeah, it was well needed, because yeah, a week in Ibiza with the gorgeous weather, the amazing beaches, the food, absolutely phenomenal. So today I'm literally going to be answering a couple of questions. So actually one question which I get asked quite a lot, and that is, what bike do I ride? So today I'm going to be doing a little walkthrough of the bike that I use. And yeah, I've had like 4 accidents in the space of a year on this thing, which is a shame, but it's still up and running. It needs a bit of a wash since I got it back from the garage. So yeah, let's go have a look. So as you can see, this is the Lexmoto LXR SE, and this is a 125cc motorbike with full LED front lights. This right here is a DRL, which is a daylight running light, which I do not have on at the moment. And this bike comes standard with dual front brakes. So you've got one disc up the front there, and you've got the other front disc just on the opposite side there. And I can't remember what the measurements for these brakes are, but I will leave you know, a full description of all the specs of the bike down in the description box below. And then on the back then we have a single, where we also have the exhaust, which I added on myself, which is a little bit scuffed up after an accident which I had during the year, which is the Black Widow. I will also leave a link to that somewhere down in the description box below. But yeah, this is the Lexmoto LXR SE. It is a 125, as you can see. Now it doesn't look like a 125 because of the size of the actual bike. However, this bike comes in 2 different variants, which is the 125 or the 380cc. And as you can see, I have the 125cc variant. However, they are both the exact same. The chassis is the exact same, the panels are the exact same, except for the engine is just a little bit different. It's just smaller. So obviously if I wanted to put a 380 in this chassis will take it, because it's the exact same chassis as the 380cc. Yeah, overall, this is the bike. I've made a couple of modifications to this bike myself. So obviously if I stick on the indicators, as you can see, I have the pulsating indicators front and rear. I've also replaced the front windshield with a double bubble, and also I have swapped out the master cylinder, which allows me to put on the shorty grips, which are again are Lexmoto or Lextech branded grips, which is the company who actually owns Lexmoto. They are Lextech, and these levers are fully adjustable with that little switch there. So I have it on the tightest I like it, because I like my front brake to feel a little bit tight, and the same as my clutch. And I've also added on some heated grips on both my left and right side, so I did that myself. I also did the indicators myself, which is quite easy. It's literally just plug and play. And obviously then towards the back I've mounted the rack, which is also on the Lextech website, or CMPO. And then I've obviously got the deliveroo box on the back. Now with this box I will be spraying this black at some point, so it is unbranded. And as you can see, the indicator there on the rear is also flashing. So if I go over towards where I normally sit, so you guys can see, this is the display here on the actual bike itself. So obviously you've got your revs, your speed is down here, you've got your gear indicator here, and then you've got your fuel gauge down here. And then obviously then you've got your gear indicator down here as well, which shows you that I'm in neutral, or any engine warning lights or anything like that. And then I've got the Oxford heated grips, like I said. And then the phone mount that I have is a generic X mount. I will leave a link to that also in the description box below in case you guys are looking at maybe getting one. And it has a USB-C, sorry, not USB-C, just a standard USB charger in there. So obviously I plugged it in, I can charge my phone, but I will be upgrading this pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. So the max power output on this bike is 12.5 horsepower, and it's it's not the fastest 125, but it's the best 125 if you want to lead up to a larger bike. And then on the front and rear, I have also upgraded my tires to the Michelin Pilot 4s, and I've also upgraded the chain from the standard chain to a gold chain, which again is a little bit dirty at the moment, but I will be cleaning that up tomorrow when I have a bit more time. And again, we also have the Lextech levers for my clutch, which is nice and fluid. So obviously then we have our pass light here, which I don't know if you can see that. And then over towards the right hand side here, obviously we've got the kill switch, and then we have our light controls, so I can change that. So as you can see, the DRL is now on, as well as the front running lights. And we've got basically different controls for the lights. So if I switch it all the way to the right, it is literally just the DRL that is running. And then obviously if it's in the center position, it's both of the lights on, the DRL and the front running lights, as you can see there. And then if I switch it all the way to the left, which I like to have it on, and that's literally just to have the front running lights right there. So this is this is a 125, so you can ride this on a CBT, if a lot of you were just wondering. Now this bike, they do not do it in this color anymore. They do have a new variant of this bike, obviously for Euro 5 emissions, but this bike is the old version of the SE. The new version, I believe, is kind of like all white up here with a mixture of black and red and something else. But yeah, and obviously this one is a 5-speed, so it's 1 down 4 up. Unlike the new version, it's a 6-speed, so it's 1 down and 5 up. And yeah, you know, this double bubble screen here, when I got this, I didn't think at first it was going to make a major difference, but it does, because it deflects the wind from the front of the bike up and over my helmet, instead of just having a flat visor here or a flat windshield where the wind was literally getting blown straight into my face. So yeah guys, that is the Lexmoto LXR SE 125. So if a lot of you are wondering what bike I ride, this is it. And I think this is a great example of, you know, it doesn't matter what bike you ride, as long as you're comfortable on it and it does the job. I don't see what the problem is in using what you're comfortable with. If you want to use a scooter, use a scooter or a moped. If you want to use an electric bike, use an electric bike. If you want to use a manual like what I'm using, even though this is a bit extreme for this job, you can use it if you want. It's up to you, and it's completely depends on what you're comfortable with. Because if you're not comfortable with what you're riding to do the job, then go around to different dealerships, try and sit on different bikes, get a feel for the bike. Because if it doesn't suit your riding position or what you think you're going to be comfortable with, don't just go in there straight away and just buy the bike just because it looks good. Because later down the line it may not suit you or your needs, or you might find later on that it's very uncomfortable. Now surprisingly, this bike here, the seat, as you can see, is quite low down and the bars are quite high up, so you don't have a complete sports bike stance where you're completely bent over the bars and over the tank and you're going to get like a really bad pain in your back. It's actually surprisingly really comfortable. Also, I forgot to mention, this bike is it's got USD forks on the front, so that means basically it's upside down forks, and then on the rear it is a single shock, I believe, and it is center mounted, not side mounted, which is also, I find, better as well, because if it's off to the side, all the weight from the back of the bike and you bounce off to one side and kind of offsets a little bit. So if it's bang in the center, all the weight is centered into the middle of that rear tire and into the center of the bike. So for me, I absolutely love it. Like I said, I've had 4 accidents in the space of a year. Yeah, it's still up and running, you know, it's durable as hell, and it is a Chinese bike. So it's a Chinese bike, but a British brand, designed in Italy but made in China. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, Lexmoto, unreliable. Maybe in the past, yes, but as of late, Lexmoto has stepped up their game. And you know, for £2,600 is what I bought this bike brand new for. You're getting a lot of bike for your money. Obviously you don't have ABS, you don't have any electronic aids, you are your ABS. So this bike, it does have linked braking, however, so when you touch on the rear brake pedal, it applies, I believe it's 25 or 20% or brake to the front and then the rest to the rear. But you know, overall this bike is a great beginner bike for those who are ready to then eventually then step up to a bigger bike, because this bike, I believe, weighs about 100 and I can't even remember, it's like 100 and something, I think it's like 130 or 164 kilos. Like I said, I'll leave all the information for that bike, all the specs and the weight and stuff like that, all down below. But yeah, I mean, it is a quite heavy bike, and yes, it may be on the power in terms of a 125. I know you can get like KTMs and stuff like that that are going to cost, you know, £4,500, or you can buy one of these for about 2,600, but I believe this is now gone up to about 3,200 for the new model, obviously because it's Euro 5 and stuff like that. But for the price I paid for the bike brand new, it's a lot of bike, and I've learned so much. And because of this bike, I'm ready now to step up to a bigger bike, because the stance of the bike is large, it is heavy, and it gives you that feel of a bigger bike as well, which is one thing I absolutely love about it. You can't go wrong. I mean, it's built like a tank, it can take an absolute pounding. And if any of you are wondering, because I know a lot of you are going to ask, what's the top speed? Now, it depends. With the back box on, you're maybe looking at about 62 miles an hour, which a lot of people say is the top speed. However, I have managed to max this bike out legally, obviously on a big A road where the speed limit was like 60 miles per hour, but I ended up maxing out at 72, and that was with the back box off. So you know, a 125 that's able to hit 72 miles an hour, can't complain. You really cannot complain. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you like these kind of videos, obviously if you like these kind of review videos as well, let me know down in the comments box below. I'd appreciate it a lot. And yeah, take care. I'll see you guys on the road.